Baltimore, Maryland, 2002. A man is sitting in his living room watching the premiere of a new television show on HBO. The show is called The Wire. It is set in Baltimore, his city, his streets, his world. And the lead character, the kingpin who controls the West Baltimore product trade, is named Avon Barksdale. The man watching is named Nathan Barksdale. Same last name, same city, same world. And as the episodes roll, the parallels keep stacking. The character runs his operation out of a housing project. Nathan ran his operation out of a housing project. The character controls West Baltimore. Nathan controlled West Baltimore. The character's organization has soldiers, lookouts, enforcers. Nathan's organization had the same. The man sitting in his living room is watching a television show based on his life, using his name without his permission. And the show is about to become the most acclaimed drama in the history of television. It will run for 5 seasons. It will be called the greatest show ever made by critics, journalists, and audiences around the world. The name Barksdale will become the most famous last name in crime television. Wood Harris will play Avon. Idris Elba will play his partner, Stringer Bell. The show will define how America understands the streets for the next 20 years. And the real Barksdale, the man whose name is on the character, will never see a dollar from any of it. He will never receive credit. He will watch the show, make millions while his own life falls apart. He will try to tell his own story. He will be arrested again, and he will pass away in a federal medical prison in North Carolina at 54 years old, while the character who carries his name lives forever on a screen. This is the story of Nathan Barksdale, the real name behind the most famous fictional kingpin in television history, the man The Wire used and never acknowledged. This is that story. West Baltimore, the 1980s. You have to understand what Murphy Homes is to understand what Nathan Barksdale came out of. Murphy Homes is a public housing complex in West Baltimore. 14 high-rise towers, built in the 1960s to house low-income families. By the 1980s, it is one of the most notorious housing projects in the entire country. The hallways are controlled. The stairwells are controlled. The courtyards are controlled. Every floor belongs to someone, and the person it belongs to is not the housing authority. Murphy Homes in the 80s is an open-air market for product, and the men who run it operate with a visibility that would be impossible anywhere except a place the city has already decided to abandon. Nathan Barksdale grows up in this world, and by his early 20s, he is not just surviving in it, he is running it. His nickname is Bodie, not Avon, Bodie. And if you know The Wire, that name should stop you. Because Bodie is also a character on The Wire, a low-level soldier in the Barksdale organization, a kid who works the corners. The show took Nathan's real nickname and gave it to a different character, a lower-ranking one, in a fictional version of his own organization. They took his last name for the boss. They took his nickname for the soldier. 2 pieces of the same real man split across 2 fictional characters without ever asking him. Nathan starts as a stick-up kid, not a dealer at first, a young man who takes from the men who have. And in Murphy Homes in the early 80s, the men who have are the dealers. Nathan robs them, and he is not quiet about it. He develops a reputation. He is fearless in a way that concerns even the men who consider themselves dangerous. He does not back down. He does not negotiate. And he is willing to go further than most men his age are willing to go. In 1982, Nathan's mentor in the product trade, a man named Frank Harper, is taken. Nathan is charged. He is acquitted. The streets draw their own conclusions. By the mid-80s, Nathan Barksdale is no longer a stick-up kid. He is running an operation out of Murphy Homes that makes him one of the most powerful men in West Baltimore. He has soldiers, he has territory, he has the kind of name that makes people cross the street when they see him coming, and he pays for it. Nathan Barksdale, by his own account, is hit over 20 times in his life. 21 according to most sources. That number is not a street legend. Nathan himself said it on camera. He showed the scars. He showed the missing leg. He described the incidents with the same matter-of-fact tone a mechanic uses to describe the dents on a car he has been driving too long. Some of those happen on the street. Corner confrontations, rivalries, territory disputes, the cost of being the man at the top in a world where everyone beneath you wants what you have. But some of them happen in places where a man is supposed to be safe. Someone walks into his hospital room and tries to finish what started on the street. Nathan is lying in a bed, recovering from a previous attempt. And someone comes through the door to make sure the job gets done. He survives that too. He loses his right leg below the knee. He is temporarily blinded. He is paralyzed at one point. His body is a map of everything the streets have done to him. And he is still here, still walking, still talking, still running Murphy Homes, 21 times. And the man does not stop. That fact should tell you two things: what kind of world this man operated in, and what kind of man it took to survive it. Most men do not survive being hit once. Nathan Barksdale survived it 21 times and kept going back to the same streets that almost ended him every single time. In 1985, Nathan is convicted, not for the product trade, for battery. He is convicted of torturing 3 people and sentenced to 15 years in state prison. He serves the full 15. 15 years. Think about what 15 years means when you enter prison as a young king and come out as a middle-aged man. The world does not pause. The streets do not wait. The young men who were children when you went in are now the ones running the corners. The housing project that was your kingdom has been reshaped, reorganized, claimed by new faces. And you, the man who once owned every floor of Murphy Homes, are standing on the sidewalk with one leg, a body full of scars, and a name that the streets still remember but no longer fear. Nathan comes home in the year 2000. He is approaching 40. The 80s are over. The crack era has peaked and receded. A new generation is running Baltimore's product trade, and they did not grow up hearing Nathan Barksdale's name the way the generation before them did. And this is where the story splits in two, because what Nathan Barksdale does when he comes home is both the most admirable and the most tragic thing in this entire story. He tries to go straight. He joins a program called Safe Streets, an anti-violence initiative run by the Baltimore City Health Department. The program hires men like Nathan, men who have credibility on the streets, men who have survived the life, men whose scars and missing limbs and prison records give them an authority that no social worker with a college degree can match. The idea is elegant. If a man who ran Murphy Homes and survived 21 attempts tells a teenager that the life is not worth it, that teenager might listen. Because the messenger is not preaching from a textbook. He is preaching from a wheelchair. Nathan throws himself into the work. He counsels young people. He mediates disputes. He walks the same blocks he once ran, and he tells the young men standing on them the truth about where those blocks lead. He shows them the leg that is not there anymore. He tells them about the hospital room where someone came to finish the job. He gives them the math that nobody gave him when he was their age. And for a few years, it works. Nathan Barksdale is the redemption story. The former kingpin who found purpose. The man the system held up as proof that rehabilitation is possible. His mother, Emma Greer, tells a reporter that her son's life is back on track. He was working and everything. He has turned his life around. And at the same time he is doing this work, at the same time he is standing in community centers telling teenagers to stay alive, a television show is about to use his name to make hundreds of millions of dollars. David Simon is a former reporter at the Baltimore Sun. In 1987, Simon wrote a series for the Sun called Easy Money, Anatomy of a Drug Empire. The series was about the West Baltimore product trade. The series mentioned Nathan Barksdale by name. Simon knew who he was. Simon had reported on his world. When Simon created The Wire with former Baltimore detective Ed Burns, the main character, the kingpin who controls the Barksdale organization, was given the last name Barksdale. And many of the details of the fictional Avon's world, the housing projects, the organizational structure, the West Baltimore territory, tracked with Nathan's real life. Simon has always maintained that Avon Barksdale is a composite, not one man. A blend of several real Baltimore figures, including Nathan, including Melvin Williams, including others Simon reported on over his years at the Sun. Simon has said publicly that no single character on The Wire is based entirely on one person. Nathan Barksdale heard that and did not agree. In 2009, Nathan told Baltimore City paper something that captures the entire conflict in one sentence: with The Wire. The way they show it, the way I feel about that is they made money off my story, off my trouble, off my pain. My story, my trouble, my pain. Not a composite story, his name on the screen, his streets on the show, his world, dramatized, broadcast to millions, generating millions in revenue for HBO, for David Simon, for the actors, for the network. And the real Barksdale, the man whose name is on the marquee, working as a Safe Streets counselor, trying to keep teenagers alive without a dollar from the show that carries his name. In 2010, Nathan decides to tell his own story. He produces a DVD called The Avon Barksdale Story, Legends of the Unwired. He appears on camera. Wood Harris, the actor who plays Avon on The Wire, interviews him. Nathan talks about his early days as a pickpocket in the projects, his progression into more serious crimes, his mentor Frank Harper, the 21 times, the lost leg, the blindness, the paralysis, all of it. Wood Harris sits across from the man whose name he made famous. The actor and the real person face to face in a conversation that should not exist. Harris became a star playing Avon Barksdale. Nathan Barksdale became a prisoner living as Avon Barksdale. And now they are sitting in the same room, the fictional version interviewing the real one, as if the show and reality have finally collapsed into the same frame. The DVD narrator calls Nathan one of the most notorious gangster kingpins Baltimore has ever seen, a magnet for violence. And Nathan, sitting in front of the camera, tells his story with the same flatness that Felicia Pearson brings to her scenes on The Wire. The flatness of a man who has been through so much that the telling itself carries no emotion. Just facts, just memory, just the life laid out on a table for anyone who wants to look at it. He calls himself the real Avon Barksdale. In the trailer for his own DVD, he claims the character, he claims the name, he claims the story. And for a moment, it looks like Nathan Barksdale is going to get what the system never gave him: his own voice, his own version, his own truth, told on his own terms. The DVD gets some attention. People watch it. The streets validate it. Nathan's name, the real one, circulates again, not as a character on someone else's show, as a man telling his own story. But it is not enough. It is never enough, because the DVD is a small production sold in a small market. And The Wire is a global phenomenon generating hundreds of millions of dollars. The scale is not even comparable. Nathan's DVD is a whisper. The Wire is a loudspeaker, and the loudspeaker is using his name. David Simon pushes back, again. Simon says Nathan is not the sole inspiration. Simon says the character is a composite, and Simon's position has never changed. But the name on the screen is Barksdale. And the man sitting in his living room when the show premiered, watching a character with his last name run the same streets he ran, is Nathan Barksdale. That is not a composite. That is a coincidence too large to explain away with a press statement. And then the story takes the turn that breaks everything. Nathan Barksdale, the Safe Streets counselor, the man who was supposed to be the example of redemption, falls back. In 2013, the DEA opens a wiretap investigation into members of the Black Gorilla family in Baltimore. And on the wire, they hear Nathan Barksdale. Not counseling, not mediating, participating in a product conspiracy. The man who was telling teenagers to stay off the streets was back on the streets. He is arrested. He pleads guilty in May of 2014. He is sentenced to nearly 4 years in federal prison, and this time he does not come home. On February the 13th, 2016, Nathan Barksdale passes away at the Federal Medical Center in Butner, North Carolina. He is 54 years old. The cause is not publicly disclosed, though he had been sick for some time. He passes in a medical prison, far from Baltimore, far from Murphy homes, far from the streets that made him and the show that used him. The character Avon Barksdale lives on. Every day, someone streams The Wire for the first time. Every day, Wood Harris walks across a screen in a prison jumpsuit or a tailored suit, playing a man whose last name belongs to a real person who is no longer alive to contest how it is used. The show has generated hundreds of millions in revenue across its run, its reruns, its streaming deals, its merchandise, its cultural impact. The name Barksdale is on t-shirts, on fan art, on memes, on lists of the greatest television characters ever created. And the man who carried that name in real life never saw a dollar of it. David Simon wrote about Nathan Barksdale in the Baltimore Sun in 1987. He used the name Barksdale for his most famous character in 2002. Nathan Barksdale watched the show, produced his own DVD, told his own story, went back to the streets, was arrested on a wiretap, and passed in a federal prison in 2016. The show is a masterpiece. That is not in dispute. The Wire changed television. It changed how America understands cities, poverty, institutions, and the product trade. It is brilliant and important and necessary. But it used a real man's name, and it never paid him for it, and it never acknowledged him as anything more than one of many composites. And the real man who carried that name spent his last years in a federal medical facility, while the fictional version of him became immortal. So what do you take from the story of Nathan Barksdale? Take the name. A name is the one thing a man owns that nobody can take from him. Except they did. They took it. They put it on a television character. They broadcast it to millions. They made it the most famous last name in crime television. And the man it belonged to watched it happen from a Safe Streets office, then from a prison cell, then from a hospital bed in Butner, North Carolina. The Wire used his real name without permission. He sued from a prison cell. He told his story on a DVD. He tried to claim what was his, and the show outlived him. The character outlived him. The name outlived him. Nathan Bodie Barksdale, born in Baltimore, raised in Murphy homes, hit 21 times, lost a leg, went to prison, came home, tried to go straight, watched a show use his name to make millions, went back, got caught on a wire, and passed at 54 in a medical prison far from home. The character is still on the screen. The man is gone. That is the story The Wire never told.